over from PhoneDog.com, and I've got this phone called the iPhone 4. You might have heard of it. And then instead of it, instead of it being plastic on the back, it's glass, and then you've also got the metal band on the outside that's causing, so much consternation about the antenna. And so the result with the form factor is that the device is thinner, but it's roughly the same weight, but it's kind of funny because it feels deceptive. It almost feels heavier, but it's really just, it feels more solid. And so I'm not crazy about, the design of the phone style-wise in terms of the kind of sharper edges and the more rectangular, kind of look to it. But in terms of hand feel, to use a term that our friend Megadug coined a while back, it feels great. This phone feels rock solid. For taking pictures, it's really nice because instead of it being a rounded corner, you've now got this flat edge, which is just easier, for holding the phone when you're in picture-taking mode. And the metal feels nice when you're holding it. And, the thinness and it's solid and everything. The thing is that people are concerned, and there have been some reports even about this happening, about the phone being more susceptible to damaging and basically shattering when you drop it. Because instead of having one glass, most phones you've got one layer of glass to protect, right, where the screen is. And then the back side is made out of something else, metal or plastic or whatever. And so, you want to protect the front, the back, it gets dinged up, not as big of a deal. But with the iPhone 4, since you've got glass on both sides, you're really running a risk. There was, I forget where I read this, but somebody made a good analogy that it might have been, I don't know, it doesn't matter who it was. Wasn't me. I'd give credit if I could remember. They made an analogy that, it's like dropping a piece of buttered toast, right? The old iPhone or most cell phones, you drop a piece of toast and you hope it lands butter side up. If it lands butter side up, you could brush the back off, maybe still eat it. Lands butter side down, most likely you've got a bunch of junk in the butter and it's nasty. With the iPhone, and cell phones are like that too. If it lands, face side down, like a phone like this, face side down, you're in trouble. But, the back side down, not too big of a deal. You brush it off, maybe a nick, but it's fine. iPhone 4, there's no good side to land down. It's glass on both sides. And so I haven't dropped it yet, actually. And so I haven't had an issue. I haven't had anybody I know a few people who have them, know some readers who have them, haven't had an issue. If you have one of these and you've dropped it, let us know in the comments what happened. Did it shatter? Did it get scratched up? Was it fine? I have heard that those Apple bumpers, not only do they apparently help with the reception issue, but they, which is ridiculous, but they also apparently protect actually more than you'd think they would against, issues when you drop the phone. But so that's one thing. The build quality is really nice. The phone feels fantastic. It feels luxury. It feels solid. The look of the phone has grown on me for sure, and I like that it's even thinner than the older version. But the glass is potentially worrisome, just because of, the higher proximity, or not proximity, higher possibility for damage to the device. I was talking about a little bit before about the camera, and the imaging on this phone's terrific. I showed you the sample photo before. 5-megapixel camera, autofocus flash, but it takes really nice pictures for a camera phone. I've heard that there may be an issue with the white balance. I'm not enough of a photographer to know about it. I'll look into it more, and if it's an issue, it's an issue. For me, the pictures look great on it. And the camera 720p video capture, we're going to do a high-def video capture shootout, this Evo 4G, Galaxy S, Droid X. But so far I've been very impressed with the video capture quality for high-def video coming from a camcorder. And I actually did, just to kind of do it, I shot a video on the device and I edited with iMovie. Downloaded iMovie, $5. It really should come for free with the phone, but it doesn't. But you can check that out. It's on YouTube. It's on the PhoneDog page as well. But impressed with the camera quality. Front-facing camera for FaceTime calls works really well. It's too bad FaceTime's Wi-Fi only. Android phones that run, Quick or Fring, you can do, like on the Evo, you can do front-facing video calls over 3G. But the way they integrated FaceTime on the iPhone is really nice, and it makes it easy to use. So here's Aaron's contact info, and I'm not going to show you his info. But if I wanted to FaceTime call with him, I just hit the FaceTime button right down there. Or if I place a call, when I'm calling him, a FaceTime option comes up. And, you know, that just makes it more consumer friendly. And it's something that, like, the geeks and, you know, people like me and probably you who are really into phones, you know, or really into figuring out how stuff works or whatever. I can launch an app on an Android phone, no big deal. But for the mass market, it makes, you know, gives FaceTime more of a chance. Now, I'll be interested to see. You know, people I know who have this are like, yeah, it's cool, and after a month, I'm not going to use it. So I'll be interested to see if, you know, video calling catches on in the U.S. or not. You know, on Apple devices, FaceTime, Apple's making it open source. So if I'd love to see a FaceTime to computer application, so I could use this to do video calls with, you know, people I know who don't have one of these. But for now, it's iPhone 4 to iPhone 4 only. I would imagine they'll have an iPod Touch coming out in September that will have a camera and FaceTime. Apps load really quickly on the device, definitely faster than the 3GS. Performance has been great. You know, the web browser, it's the same thing, but it's higher res. So we'll go to PhoneDog here, and the page is loading up. You know, it's got Wi-Fi, it's got 3G, it's GSM, 3G on you know, on AT&T. And then Wi-Fi, of course. It's got, now it has 802.11n, but it's only, not the full spectrum. I think it's 2.4 only. So, you know, again, mainstream, mass market won't care, but people know what it is, might be a little annoyed. But things, you know, render quickly. The screen's very responsive. You know, the scrolling, the rendering, the accelerometer kicks in. And I got to keep my hand out of here. I guess it's blocking the light coming in from outside. My video light's positioned elsewhere now. But anyway, so in general, performance has been great. So, you know, in all, and then it's also got the multitasking now. So, you know, it's really just fast app switching, but that's fine. Apps are starting to come out now that'll let you, you know, do things in the background. So, you know, Pandora, some of the other apps can run in the background or, you know, offer up push notifications as they previously could, and then you can just switch quickly between apps, which, you know, I think fast app switching is basically all that most people need, except for limited applications. Again, you know, you got to think about the mass market Apple's going after, and not just the kind of hardcore smartphone users who wouldn't be dead using something with fast switching. They want full-on multitasking, whatever that means. And then you've got the little widget there to control your iPod, which is kind of fun. And, you know, we'll get more into this. There was a video up on today's iPhone. You should check that out, a walkthrough of iOS 4 that was really nice. So, you know, we'll either do one or we post that one on the site. You can check that out for more on iOS 4. But it works well. I like it as much as I like, you know, iPhone OS 3, plus a couple of nice new features. The camera, we talked about a little bit before, but the camera now has, you know, the digital zoom, which is nice. Took a minute there to load up. After talking about how fast it loads, it took a minute there to load up. It's got a flash. You can set the flash to off, auto, on. It's got the digital zoom. You can switch to the front-facing camera. Hey. And, you know, switch to the, I'm in video mode now. Switch over to still photo mode. And same thing, you can do front-facing camera. You can also, when you tap, you get digital zoom now. I can zoom way in on the backdrop. That'll make for an awesome photo. Battery life has been, I think, just a tiny bit better, actually, than... Oh, am I getting a crash here? Yep, bugs. Definitely bugs. Look at that. I'm hitting the home button, and it's not clearing me out of the camera. But the lock switch worked. There we go. Battery life has been a little tiny bit better than iPhone 3GS so far. Not, you know, not a difference maker. You use it hard, it's dead by the end of the day for sure. Or, you know, in need of a charge, if not dead. So it passes the test for me, but it's not, my test is, you know, can I get through a day on it? And I haven't had an issue with that so far, but it's not, you know, spectacularly awesome battery life. And otherwise, what can I say? You know, I've had it for a week. It's hard to do a full-on review and really know what it's going to be like over the long haul. But I think, you know, two things stand out to me. One, this is the best iPhone so far when it works right. Two, this one I think has a few more bugs, a few more, you know, potential software bugs. I think the proximity sensor issue is probably fixable over software. I would hope so. You know, some other bugs you just saw because it's a new OS, new piece of hardware. But then some other stuff like the antenna issue and possible issues with the design, with the glass breaking and that kind of thing, that we're going to have to see how it stands up to the test of time. And we'll also have to see if that white one ever becomes available. So there you go. Overall, you know, it's a thumbs up on the device. The jury is out, and it's a shaky, you know, slightly thumbs down, kind of shaky on, you know, no, it's definitely actually a thumbs down. It's not shaky at all. It's a thumbs down on Apple getting all the kinks worked out before they ship the product. Fortunately, you know, the biggest one, the signal strength issue with the, you know, the death grip, while I've noticed it visually, it hasn't affected me in terms of calls. The other one, the proximity sensor issue, has affected me, and it's annoying. You know, it's really, it's a drag. And then the other issues that I mentioned with the screen yellowing and that kind of stuff, I haven't experienced myself. Apple's response, customer service-wise, thus far, has really been an issue for me. I don't think the way they've handled the whole thing with the you know, the antenna problems is very good, and the emails from Steve Jobs, and then even Apple's, you know, their official statement on it. Yeah, other phones have come with stickers on the back that say, you know, if you hold it here, performance will deteriorate, that kind of thing. But this is different when you when you sell so many and there's so much hype and you're part of creating that hype and everything. You know, your response to problems just gets magnified. And I guess it's not necessarily, well, and then the other thing is that they were really hyping up in the launch about how this new design with the antennas will help with stuff. And then there's a problem with the antennas, and, you know, the response is like, hold it a different way, right? And we don't want to make bigger, we don't want to beat a dead horse on that thing, but I was just astounded by that response. So I'm hoping that Apple releases, you know, either a software update, or they're not issuing credits for free bumpers, it sounds like. But I'm hoping they do something to make this right, and soon. Because, you know, right now it's definitely, it's a big issue, and it would definitely, you know, make me hesitate to recommend the phone. Not like you can buy them right now anyway, so we'll see what happens. But there you go. You know, so far the things that work are great, but the things that don't work are big enough that definitely causes some hesitation. And that's my early look, after a week, at the iPhone 4. Much, much more. Perhaps from me another video after a little while goes on. But in the meantime, much, much more from the other folks on PhoneDog.com. And of course, today's iPhone.com, where Adrianna has a whole crew of people keeping you up to date on all the latest iOS news. iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch, all that stuff. So check it out. All right, till next time, my name is Noah. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.